Pochettino to Manchester United, James?
It's not impossible. I mean, they have spoken to him a couple of times before. I don't think it ever really went anywhere on those two occasions, but he would obviously be a manager of interest to them because, as Craig quite rightly says, there's a lot of top clubs out there who are looking for managers, and it's not as if they're having their doors knocked down by all these fantastic options. So, no, look, I mean, as far as United are concerned, there is a view within the FA that they're expecting perhaps an approach from Manchester United for Gareth Southgate this summer. I don't know whether that will happen. I mean, it's a complicated one with Gareth because obviously, say England win the Euros or they get to the quarters or even the quarters or the semis, they're going to be engaged in Germany until sort of early July, and United would start their pre-season. I think I've got a feeling they come back on something like the 5th of July. So it's, when the tournament's still going on. So could you really have a new manager taking over when the team's starting on this pre-season plan? That would then lend itself to a manager who's out of work. And obviously, there's been a lot made of United not having a lot of money and headroom on PSR for transfers. And clearly, if they could get a manager of someone like Pochettino in for free, no compensation, no fee, no exit, anything like that, then, the appeal would be there. And, I think he would take it. I think he likes to stay in England, and he loves. I mean, he's just done his 400th game, I think he was, and he was talking then about how much he loves English football. So I think he would be open to it if they came for him.
Bayern, of course, an option as well for him, Shang. Where would you go?
If I'm Pochettino,
yeah.
Right now I sit and wait to see what else comes up.
What else is going to come up? What are you waiting for?
Well, I'm just saying. I think there could be a little bit of a if Michel moves, maybe going back to Spanish football is an option for him. But
he's not going to go to Girona.
I know. I'm just saying. There's just such dysfunction at those big clubs. Why do you go back into that straight away?
Because you think you're the man to sort it out.
You've just endured that back-to-back with PSG and Chelsea. Why do you go back in to that kind of dysfunction? And that, for me, I'm not 100% certain on. I think Manchester United probably are in a better position with Sir Jim Ratcliffe coming in. I think there's suggestions, a little bit more stability around them. But for everybody else, I just feel it's a job that, and as you see, people are afraid to touch.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it? If you're Sir Jim Ratcliffe, you pick up the phone and at least have a conversation.
Well, there's not too many others out there that are of any note at the moment. One or two, but they're starting to get the structure in place. I'm not sure what the current situation is with Dan Ashworth, the guy that's coming in from Newcastle, who is well regarded in the role that he's been in at Brighton and Newcastle and other clubs. How quickly they're going to get that gardening leave sorted. But yeah, you definitely... I mean, you're thinking about it because, the Ten Hag situation is... I think his position is pretty much untenable, and, we're a few days away from a potential walloping in an FA Cup, which will finally probably see him out the door for sure, I would imagine. And yeah, bearing in mind who's out there, then Pochettino's name... I mean, it's not somebody you're running... You're not going Pochettino straight away,
no.
But... There is a dearth of...
Yeah, when you look at who's out there and
there's a dearth of
who's in charge of your club at the moment.
Yeah, you have the conversation.
James, how long is it going to take for Chelsea to sort this out, do you reckon?
I don't think there's anything imminent. I think that's probably reflected in the way the betting's changing every 30 seconds because I don't think anybody's really quite sure about where they're going with it at the moment. So, I mean, look, the one thing from their point of view is obviously they've now got a bit of time doing it so close after the end of the season means that they've got a month or so until they start thinking about pre-season tours and what have you. So I don't think they're going to rush into anything. And as we've already sort of established, there's going to be a million voices having their say in this. So the idea of them making a quick decision, I can't see it. Just one other thing on Pochettino, by the way, just throwing this out there, but John McDermott is going to pick the next England manager, and he's the technical director at the FA, and he was at Tottenham. And he had a fantastic relationship with Pochettino during their 5.5 years there. And I'm not saying I've heard anything which is not based on information, but I could just see a scenario where if England can't go down the Englishman for the England team route, which they probably would like to do, there's not probably an obvious candidate for that, given what happened to Graham Potter at Chelsea and perhaps that Eddie Howe's just dipped a little bit at Newcastle. Just wonder whether they might look at Pochettino if he was out of work, and if Gareth Southgate did leave this summer. That might be another scenario just to keep at the back of your mind.
That's a big arse, though, taking over of the European champions, isn't it? James, thank you very much. We'll let you get back to writing. Enjoy your evening. Just a reminder. Here's what Chelsea's got ahead of them. Of course, they're here in the States once again for pre-season.